Everyone, Barry at CTech-review. Today, we're going to talk about the 2026 Ford Explorer. What changed versus 2025? Some of it's not that big of a deal, and there's actually a few pretty neat versions that are now out for 2026 versus 2025. We're going to look at options. We also want to look at pricing, and are there any surprises we don't know yet? Let's get into this. All right, we hop over to Ford.com, and I've got open the just different build calculator configurators for the 26 as well as the 25 Ford Explorer. And I also, just for some perspective and reference points, wanted to include a few other competitive versions. So once we get to where we want to be as far as what option we want to go with, how does this compare to, I'd call it somewhat of a competitor. I know what you're saying. If you're buying an Explorer, you're buying a rear wheel drive platform SUV, which is different than a front wheel drive platform that your Traverse is, but it is a mid-size SUV with 3 rows like the Ford Explorer. So I'm including it for that reason, as well as Toyota. I'm not a big Toyota guy. That's what our buddy TRD John, he's the master in this area, but trying to compare this to a 3-row SUV, I sort of think it's the Highlander because the 4Runner, I believe, is only 2 rows, but we'll look at that as well. Okay, so for 2025, there were 4 models available, and we're seeing similar naming across the other lines with the Expedition as well. So you had Active, ST line, Platinum, and then the full real ST. Difference in ST and ST line, I believe this is just more of the looks, but not all of the performance like with the 3.0 EcoBoost like the ST gets. Now, we go to 2026. There's a lot more versions. Well, 50% more. So you got 6 more versions. You've got Active 100A, Standard Active, ST line. We've got Tremor. We've got Platinum, and we've got ST. So really what they did is bring in this new 100A Active as well as the Tremor. Just for today, let's start this with the Tremor, because I think this is one of the biggest deal for 2026. There wasn't a Tremor version in the Explorer. So this is for the person that, or the family that is a bit of an outdoor explorer. Maybe they go hiking, hunting, camping. They like to get outdoors. They don't want a full-size SUV and spend, $75,000. And they also don't want a small SUV. They need a 3-row SUV. This is where the Tremor comes in. It gets you a little nicer skid plate up front. You've got recovery points. You got a little bit special suspension, nicer tires, wheels. And we're going to kind of talk about this. So where it starts is with the 2.3-liter EcoBoost and a 4-wheel drive. You can kind of see just some of the base colors. I love this new Marsh Gray. I think this is a really slick color. And you can see this has got the Tremor-themed interior, just like what we will see on the F-150 Tremor as well as the Expedition Tremor. If we pop this bad boy up to $12,000. Holy cow. So if you want the 3-liter, you're going to pay $12,000 for this because they've got it connected to the Ultimate package. But what does the Ultimate package get you? Actually, let's first start with this 200A Tremor package. So you get the 18-inch high-gloss wheels, a Torsen limited slip differential. Very cool. Off-road tuned suspension. That gets you the higher ride height for off-road. Steel underbody protection. It's interesting they call it underbody protection, not skid plates. Makes me wonder, is it lighter duty, less capable? Not sure. Off-road auxiliary grille lights. Got Copilot Assist 2.0. That's nice. You still got a power outlet, heated front and ventilated seats, second row heated seats. B&O system, off-road grill, steel underbody protection. They mentioned that twice. Ventilated front seats. It looks like there's a few things and bugs they got to kind of work out here. Second row heated seats, second row heated seats. So they're still probably working through their website right now. But let's see what you get for the Ultimate package. So you get Blue Cruise, that's nice. Panoramic fixed sunroof, rain sensing window wipers, multi-contour seats with active motion. Very cool. So you're getting massaging seats is how I read this for $63,000, which is $63,000 a lot of money? Absolutely it is. But for perspective, the Expedition Tremor at this level would be $85,000. So it's 22 grand less. And arguably, guys, if you watch my channel, you know I'm a huge fan of the 3-liter EcoBoost. It's so fun to drive. It gets great fuel economy. You really don't hear about a lot of problems with it. I think it's one of the best EcoBoost engines that I've owned personally. I've owned all of them, 2.3, 2.7. I've not owned a 1.5 or 2.0, but I really like it. Blue Cruise, one-time purchase. Comes with a Class 3 trailer tow hitch. What is this convenience package? This gets you ambient lighting. It says rain sensing. I thought that was included with wipers with the other. Folding mirrors, auto-dimming rear view mirror. I'm not really sure about that one. Otherwise, there's no options as far as tires. You got an all-terrain tire. It just says a P265, 65/18, standard on the Tremor. 18-inch spare wheel is not included. And that's kind of funny. You would think that would come with that in an off-road vehicle, but that's okay. It does have a Myco suede with Myco perforated seating. That's really nice. What else? Captain's chairs. I really like that. It's got the easy entry with the armrest. Power fold third row seating. That's a great option. Not a lot of the competitors have power. Some of them just have the little pull cord. You can still get the secure code access. That's great. I'm not seeing anything else on here that's too interesting. You got the 14-week speaker system, but basically you're going to hover somewhere between $50,000 and $63,000. Now, there wasn't a Tremor option for 2025, so I don't even really know how we baseline this as far as performance, but let's now go to a different version. Let's just start with this Active 100A, and we're going to compare this to a base Active. Let's see what they kind of compare. So we got 25 versus 26. What's the difference? 26 is at $40,955, and the 25 is $41,745. So right off the bat, it's showing a lower price versus 2025. But is there anything that's changed? Let's see engine-wise. 2.3 rear-wheel drive. What do we got here? It doesn't even show for the Active. It is rear-wheel drive also. Let's pop this to 4-wheel drive. That jumps it to $43,745. We'll go to this. So when I see this initially, I'm seeing it's less price for 2026, which is awesome. Everybody wants to see that. What other stuff are we missing though? 100A option, 2.3 LED tail lights, tire inflator and sealant kit. That makes me believe it does not come with a matching spare. Full-size spare. This one doesn't give us, we don't get a whole lot of information other than its unique cloth seats. This interior is also a unique cloth seat. So interior to interior, not a big difference there. You can still, let's see, can you get a 3-liter in this? You cannot get the 3-liter engine. So I don't see much different there. Let's go to the standard. Now this was standard Active. This is Active 100A. Now let's see where the standard Active for 2026 comes in. So if we go to this and we bump 4-wheel drive versus 4-wheel drive, Active versus Active actually jumps your price from $43,745 to $44,975. So that's a $1,500 price increase, approximately 3%. And just kind of looking at some of the different options, Copilot Assist 360 comes with a Class 3 trailer tow hitch. Yeah, so it looks very similar to me. I'm not seeing a whole lot different versus the Active for 2026. Now let's go to my favorite, the ST, and we're going to compare ST to ST. If you haven't driven one of these things, they are a riot. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't drive like a traditional SUV, doesn't have the wallowy handling. It's got great brakes, great suspension, good traction, and a great motor, and it sounds awesome. The seats feel nice. It's a really nice vehicle. We had a 2021 Explorer ST, and it was wonderful. Didn't have any problems, great fuel economy, a lot of fun to drive. We look at this, $56,465. So I'm seeing about a $700 price increase for 2026, but let's make sure 59.2. Let's see if we go powertrain, 58,465 versus 59,295. So about $700 more for 2026. They still both have the 3-liter EcoBoost. Both of them still have the 10-speed transmission. It's a 400A interior, Ford connectivity, Blue Cruise. Yep, 400A. So now Blue Cruise was an option for 2025. So that's a $500 option. Whereas for 2026, oh, it's the 90-day package. But this, now let's see, if we want to go for a one-time purchase, it's $2,500 more. So let's just do this here. Let's see information. It's a 1-year plan. Let's see 1 year. Let's go 1 year versus, so 59,790 versus 58,960. Just shy of $1,000. Not seeing a huge lot of differences here, guys. Interior, exterior. I'm sure there's some small things, but nothing massive I'm seeing. Interior wise, we look at that. I mean, I do like the red stitching. That looks pretty sharp. Yep, still got the red stitching. So we compare apples to apples. What do I see? Curious if this still lights up and does Explorer right there, ambient lighting wise. Steering wheel bolstering, lettering, not seeing much different in that regard. So if I look at this kind of objectively, I think their big thing this year is bringing this Tremor. It's their main homepage showing, look, an active family here. They're into dirt biking and four-wheeling. You can put a roof rack, pull a little trailer. I don't see a whole lot of big changes, honestly. If you could snag a deal on a 2025, take advantage of that. Maybe you can lease that. But if you're someone that wants that Tremor, this is pretty neat little 3-row SUV. I'm curious your guys' thoughts. What do you think about the coloring and like this little orange stripe on the wheel of the Explorer as well as the Expedition? It's kind of a personal preference thing. Seems like some people like it, some people don't. I could go either way, but I do think this is a pretty neat little vehicle. But if we go now and look at how this compares to, say, a Z71 Traverse, now granted, it's not the same animal. We're talking a 2.5 liter. It's like a 300 horsepower engine, nowhere near the capability, but it is still a very nice SUV. The Traverse is really nice. Let's put the adventure package here. Gets us the roof rails. We want to make sure we got the sunroof connected. We do all of this stuff, kind of compare it apples to apples. We got the same stereo, everything. You're kind of looking, you know, realistically, with a loaded out Traverse, you're looking at pretty similar pricing, $58,000, $59,000 for a Traverse versus a Tremor. And then one is a front wheel drive platform with rear wheel assist, the Traverse, and one is a rear wheel drive platform like a pickup truck, full size, and front wheel assist. I don't know. I've been a big fan, honestly, of this Traverse for the value when it comes out. But once you load these things out, I think the value disappears a little bit. That's just my personal opinion. But they're very, very close in price, Traverse versus Explorer. Now we go into Toyota, and I'm just going to kind of compare the Toyota. We're going to just do a 4Runner, and let's build even though it's not 3-row, let's go do a TRD Pro. Haven't added an option. We're at $68,000. That's a sweet looking color. I love the mud bath. I think it looks really cool. But, you know, the downside is it's not a 3-row SUV. The interior is cool. I really do think they do a great job on this. But this is a 2-row SUV. You can kind of see. Really just all depends. Do you need the 3rd-row versatility or not? I'm a big fan. I think the looks of this new 4Runner is awesome. But I just kind of still struggle with the pricing. $68,000. And I don't believe you can get hands-free driving like you can with the Ford Explorer. So, you know, different strokes for different folks. But anyhow, guys, I hope this helps you a little bit if you're looking at a 2026 Ford Explorer. As I said, my personal opinion, if you can snag a deal on a 25, take advantage of discounts. But if you got your heart set on a Tremor, got to wait for the 2026. And I'd be curious if anybody who's watching the channel picks up one of these Tremors, leave your comments down below. I'd be curious to see what you think of it. I think this is a really cool option for 2026. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give me a like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a drive review on an Explorer Tremor here in not too distant future. So definitely stay tuned on that. Thanks for watching.